but thank you for being patient. I think it's a real honor to have you here, and it's nice seeing you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think, what, 2 years now?
It's been 2 years, but I'm happy you're still confident in us, considering
Yeah,
clearly we
yeah.
are not meeting as often.
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes, yes. So I think today we just want to listen to Mr. Mwai Ndegwa, get to know who you are, how your journey, investing back home while you haven't been here for about 2 years is, and why TSAVO, yeah? And hopefully we can, we can take as much time as possible to cover all the questions we have to learn from you today. So maybe we can just start by you telling us who is Mr. Mwai?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Martha, for giving me this opportunity and also to reach out to other people and show them some investment avenues that are really viable. Okay, introducing myself, my name is Mwai Ndegwa. Some people also know my baptismal name, David, and I do respond to it. I was born in Nyeri, Kenya, and at around 2 years of age, my parents moved to the rather tightly packed east side of Nairobi. They sent me to school in Nairobi, and all the way from nursery school, and then I went to Upper Hill School for my high school, and after A levels, I went to Kenya Polytechnic. I trained in the science field, and I ended up working for University of Nairobi in the research labs, and then later at the International Livestock Research Institute.
Oh.
I am married to a supportive and wonderful wife. Her name is Betty. And between us, we managed to get 3 boys. After several years working in Nairobi, I felt like I was spinning my wheels on a good job, but it was lacking progression prospects. There was, of course, the declining economy in the country, and a lot of layoffs were going on at the same time. In fact, one of the layoffs was so close to home when my wife was actually laid off from her travel agency job. Now with 3 kids, and without any alternative, the imagination of me suffering the same job loss was just really unsettling. So I started leveraging the internet and sending out my resume to any research lab that will actually read it. And I thought, anyway, if I can leverage my technical skills, maybe I could. I didn't know how many resumes I sent, but there were many, and I was relentless about it. However, all I needed was one positive response, which I got from the Research Foundation in New York City. The employer procured my H-1B visa to go work in the US and also enabled me to bring my family along because that's really what I wanted. I didn't want that separation from my family. So each of them got the H-4 visa. Fast forward 18 years later, my children are all grown, college graduates, and independent.
Yeah.
I'm still working with the medical research support as a biosafety professional with an affiliate of Harvard Medical School in Boston.
Your story is very encouraging because I think very many people, especially in that season of being laid off, would have given up. And you being very relentless, and you could see the end in mind. You could see where you wanted to be, and what you wanted to achieve. And I think it's very humbling to even host you. Thinking of research, I believe you're doing you have an impact in the society and where the world is going. So maybe, sorry?
Yeah, I'm saying I knew the retrenchment was just was inevitable.
So I think maybe from the point you got a job in New York, sorry, to you starting investing, what inspired that? How did you go about it, and why invest back home, Kenya? Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I had to deal with the culture shock and all these just coming to the big city in New York with the 3 kids in tow. And so all I did now was to work hard and support the family. And in fact, while I was here, I went to grad school and I got my master's degree in biotech. And, after putting them through schools and felt a little bit of stability is when now you start thinking now, okay, I'm here. What next?
Yes.
And therefore, you need to now start putting things in place so that in the future, you can now start making money in other ways other than your job.
Yes.
Because your job, you have no control of it, and it's someone else's business. So, and there are so many ways one could invest. There are so many risks that one could take, and depending on your risk appetite, that's up to you. So, investing back home for me was a no-brainer. We wanted to spend, and we still are planning to spend our retirement years in Kenya, and therefore that's the place where we want to really prepare well.
Yes.
The baridi here is too much. I don't think in my old age I want to be shoveling snow.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, and like I say, there are so many ways of investing, and the one choice would depend on the tolerance for risk and knowledge of the industry. So generally, high risk has high returns, and vice versa.
Yes.
And in my opinion, a moderate approach would be best by mixing the type of investment. In other words, not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
I think we've had
spreading
that.
your risk.
Yes. So I chose real estate due to its relatively low risk compared, let's say, for example, if you're operating a matatu, the returns are quick, but the risks are very high.
Yes, very.
And it also augured very well with my physically being away from Kenya. So I needed to get something that I can operate from a long distance.
Yes. So more of a passive income.
Yes, exactly. And all I need to do is get somebody who will be able to just a little oversight, but I don't have to be there. So that's really a good way of doing it.
Okay. How did you get to know about TSAVO?
I first heard about TSAVO in the summer of 2019. Before the summer of 2019, to me, TSAVO was a wildlife sanctuary.
National park.
Yes, and so and it so happened that at that time I had just joined the ASACO. It's called the Kenya USA Diaspora ASACO. And actually, I was attending the first meeting as a member, which was held in a small town called Chelmsford near Boston. So I went there, and of course, there are many vendors showing their wares and all that. And I saw one written TSAVO. So I thought it was a tour company. But when I went nearer, I realized, okay, these guys they had this really nice display of the project in the Royal Suburbs project.
Yes.
And man, I really just liked it. And I met Mrs. Emily Mucharo. She showed me the products. I was impressed, and I thought the project would fit my investment need. So I decided, okay, this sounds good. It's affordable. I think I can do it. And that's where the journey began.
Yeah. And what really stood out, considering, real estate in Kenya has not had the best profile, so to say, in terms of, we have investors in the diaspora who've really burnt their fingers. And, in your head, the only Tsavo ni ile ya wanyama. And then you come to this, these people are actually doing buildings and it's not a tour company. And first time member of the Kenya US Diaspora Circle, definitely there's a lot of credibility behind that. However, this is a first time risk. Yeah, meaning, there has to be something that really stood out for you, that, you said, I'm not coming to Kenya anytime soon, but I'm willing to go this direction with these guys.
Yes, you actually just hit the nail on the head, because if TSAVO is being brought here as a vendor by Kenya USA Diaspora Circle, they obviously have been vetted. Yes. It's not a newspaper cutting or anything like that that you can have some shady brokers put up. And and there's also the drive, the need for this kind of investment. And then thirdly, the artist's impression of that project really caught my eye. And the architecture was really unusual. Even today, with that project finished, if you look around, it is just standing out.
Yes, yes.
And myself, I'm a fine artist, so I kind of have an eye for that. So what I saw, I really liked. It's the design. It was modern and extremely attractive.
Yes.
The price of the unit was really very, very fair. So, and it was kind of below market value at the time. And therefore, it because of the low value, it enhanced the projected return on investment on both the property value or the rental income. Yeah. So this was really an ideal low risk, high return investment. And, again, sitting there and talking with Emily face to face, that really helped. When you put a human face to face conversation, there is the body language that one is able to read, and I put my trust in our company.
Yeah, thank you. And how has your experience been so far?
Oh, working with TSAVO has been great. Those 2 years, they were really smooth. And, when it came to even the legal department, drafting agreements, and, talking back and forth, there are people who listen to you. Every time you had a question, it was answered immediately. In fact, they give you a false impression like it's only you and them. And, yeah, there must be other people who are investing in that, but, that personal feel, that really was really nice. And I didn't feel like I was being used. I was being made to feel important. And that was really well done. The documents were handled diligently. And, and the most important thing, which I really liked, was that the project was completed on time. And when I was in Kenya back in 2019, I was able to go and visit the Embakasi project. And I remember I went on tour with you. So I was seeing tangible things. Really, they are there. So that was a real belief builder.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I'm glad, we were able to give you such an experience. I think it's not an easy achievement. Yeah. So what advice, especially on credibility and integrity, how has TSAVO helped you go through this? Yeah. From an off-plan project, you not knowing who TSAVO is, and you being in the diaspora, what is that has helped you just go through the 2 years and actually trust that this is going to work, this is a credible brand that you can stand with? And even during the COVID season, I mean, 2020 was quite hard for Kenya, as a country, but you still stood and trusted that we are able to deliver what we had promised. Yeah. So what can you say about that?
Yeah, it's, in life and in business, when it comes to that, the most basic thing that must happen and must be there is trust and transparency. With those two things there, then all else falls in place. So one of the so that trusting relationship that we developed, and it was proved by the interactions that were going on, and it was feeling, as we went on, I was more and more relaxed about what was happening. In fact, I at some point I got so excited, I was ahead of my payments.
Yes.
And because this is something that was building excitement, I didn't even feel the fatigue or anything like that. I'll do everything to get this finished quickly, because I even did my last payment came in even before it was due, and that just goes to show the kind of relationship we are working in. So their credibility was backed up by the TSAVO did what they said they would do and on time.
Yeah.
So, really, those are very good attributes. And anyone working with any company, those are the kind of things they want to see in order to be able to work. And being so far out here, that's exactly what you need. We've had stories of people who have invested through people. They have a project, the project is going on, they get pictures and all that. And the day they go there, they find that that project was actually going on, but on someone else's land, and
Yeah.
really, really sad stories. So
Yes, yes.
we need things with like TSAVO, which has a proven track record, and it's possible to trust them.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So what would you advise someone who's targeting to invest back home? Would you even refer them to TSAVO? And not ignoring the fact that very many people have already burnt their fingers. However, if you look at the remittance, in terms of funding coming from the diaspora, is very high. Yeah, and even us as TSAVO, we preach financial independence, and that comes from investing. So what would you tell someone who is in the diaspora and they're looking for somewhere to invest? Yes.
Good. I'm already recommending this kind of investment, especially in TSAVO, because I can talk about it. Now, the thing is, like I said earlier, it is prudent to invest in your future life.
Yes.
And people have to know that one thing that you need, let's say after you retired and stuff like that, it's not just the property that you have amassed. You need some liquidity. And therefore, when you are investing in your future, you must mix these things. You must put investment that will bring liquidity, because on a daily living, you need liquidity. Because what's the point of having hundreds of acres of land and you have a hospital bill you can't deal with? Because by the time you're selling that land, your health is really doing badly. But when you think about some few rental units, at the end of the month, some money is coming in. That is what you live on. It's not the land that you have bought there. So what I would say and what I would advise is that people can invest any which way they want, but it's good to really look into also mixing the kind of investment where you create a stream of income, a trickle of monies that are coming on a regular basis. And this real estate or rental property is a very good way of doing it and getting that kind of income stream.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think, of course, as you're saying, getting passive income that will eventually, sustain your purpose. Yeah. How has TSAVO come into your journey towards financial independence? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's so to me, I see them as a partner in my investment. And besides just having the apartment, there's the management side of it. So the moment we finish, the moment actually I really liked it because when this project when they were finished and they could an occupancy was granted, it wasn't even a month, and they got me a tenant. So do you see, this is what passiveness is about. Because I didn't have to be there. All I have to do is just facilitate the fees for that service, and I sit back. That's what you want.
Yes.
Because one of the things is that even later in life, there's as they say, uh, a human being, depending on what stage you are in life, you have time and you have energy and you have money. Those are the three things you need to live.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they're distributed in a very different way.
Yes,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
so you will find this college student who has a lot of time, no money, and lots of energy. But but later, as life goes, you find that the energy is gone, and the time is short, but
But
the
the money
money is
is
there. So
there.
what you do, it is there. So how do you spend this money? What you need to do is get a system that this money comes in, and you buy back your time,
Yes,
because
yes.
now
Maybe
you
say
don't have to. Yeah.
when
Say again.
money is working for you.
Yes, it has a, yeah, that's when it works for you. And that the way I see it, this money actually it buys you time.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, if today you had all the money you needed to live, there would be no need to go to a job. And that
Yes.
time that you go to job, you do your own things. I'd rather even go to Kunda and sit by the beach drinking those drinks that have small little umbrellas. No, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. And I think even when you look at how we define financial independence at Tsavo, is having enough uh, assets that generate for you enough monthly passive cash flow to facilitate, sustain your lifestyle. Yeah. Being at a point where you're saying, now I can sit back and my investments can work for me. Because I think, there is a saying that you either work for money and you will work until you die, or you invest and then the money will work for you. Yeah. So maybe how can this fire story reach people in the diaspora, especially Kenyans in the diaspora?
It's actually not too difficult. And being in the 21st century, the social media is a buzz with this kind of thing. In fact, I think a lot of people they know about this, but they need to see this so that we can now talk about specifically Savo way of
Yes.
investing. And what we do is, and that's what I do. And when whoever is connected with me on this social media, or they'll get to know about it if they indicate interest. It's not broadcast things, because let me tell you, you can talk to the wall, but the bricks will do nothing.
Yes.
But what you do is see if there is interest. If someone is interested in it, that's the best way to do it, because even farmers, you can broadcast the seeds anywhere. Some seeds will land on rocks,
Yes.
some will land on fertile ground. So the only ones you're going to deal with are the ones that are germinating.
Yes,
So there
definitely.
is the same thing about this. So if people are interested, then it's a good way to guide them. Yeah,
Yes.
and I think even so far, I think I have referred two or three people to you guys. So
Yes.
it's because I believe it's a good way to go.
Thank you so much, so much. So maybe what would you like to say to anyone who would be able to see this content and they are still not very sure, or I don't know, they're still thinking of where to invest and how to invest as we close.
Well, what I would tell them is contact Martha at Savo. That's the first thing I'll tell them. If they are not sure, I can tell them if they will have seen this video, they'll have I'll have explained my experience, which actually is desirable. But if they're still in doubt, maybe there isn't much we can do about that kind of person. Maybe that was a seed that fell on the rock, right? So we would say that if they want, they can get in touch with you or get in touch with me, and I'll be able to explain a little bit more and give them the confidence that this is a viable avenue. And again, it's additional to whatever else they want to do.
Yes, yes.
So that's what I would do. Mm.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mwai. I think it's very inspiring to see what we've done and what we do and how it has impacted your life. And I hope this would be encouraging to anyone who would, you know, pass by and think this is an animal or a park, but, you know, find out that we are in the investment space. I hope, you know, it would change the lives of people in the diaspora and even change the story of credibility. Yeah, I think just being able to have a track record and have people like you who are now enjoying the seeds of the investments. Yeah.
And we haven't stopped. We go, and we are not yet done.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you so much for your time. I think it was worth hearing your side of the story. Yeah.
Thank you, and pass my regards to them, Charles.
I will definitely.
Bye-bye. Cool.